Well, hello everyone. How are you doing on Thursday? Yes, it is Thursday. Thursday for the rest of all of us who go by the calendar, in which we do. So, how are you doing other than that? So good to see everyone. Followed the uh, chat in the chat room, the messages. You know, Richard, just want to say hello to you. This is what makes us unique. It's the fact that we're here. We're here for a purpose. We're here for learning, and hey, we're having fun. Hey, knowledge seeker, how you doing? Merritt, good to see you. Andrew, just believe. Bath and Body, good to see you. Experimental Elements, greetings. Let's see, Claudette, how are you? Good to see you. Dwayne Copeland, good to see you. Marcia, hello. So tomorrow night we will be with Anja and Deborah Tucker, and it's going to be a good Friday night show. Make sure you check it out. Good afternoon, Sammy from Pennsylvania. Good to see you. Matt, hey, Anja, got your package this morning, by the way. Got it right over here. So thank you. Billy Boy, hello. Chris Garcia, good to see you. Vivian, hello. Great name, by the way, Vivian. That's a great name. You know, some of those more older colloquial names are, I think, pretty cool. So the question that I posed before everyone, I need to give credit where credit is always due. Renee sent me a question, and when it was one of those questions that most of us never stop to think about. And I bet you all here right now, none of you have kind of figured the question out. And I've kind of watched some of the answers. So as the title page there that for this broadcast, I made a bold statement. And I thought about this, and I've concluded that it is replete in so many ideologies, theologies, philosophies, lots of these. But the question is, well, why are we here? The question is actually very simple if you think about it. I think more importantly, if you were given a choice, what would you do? What are you going to do in the next plane? I mean, if you can start getting your mind, your spirit prepared, you're going to be over there. Who knows? By all indications, going to be a lot longer here. So could I ask you a question, men and women of mind and reason? Would it not make logical sense that if you're going to be someplace a lot longer than here, would you not want to prepare while you can here before you get immersed over there? I mean, seriously. And I'm going to put this further. I figured this out for myself. Now, each of us have our own paths. But it became very clear to me, there's only one reason for me to be here. One. And that's to prepare me to be a God. Yeah, I said God. And if you're not here to prepare yourself to be a God, then what are you doing through this cycle? Are you just a masochist, just like this enslaved, indentured system? I mean, think about it. And I'm going to tell you something else. It's very heavily laden in the Christian religion, a lot of different religions, that says exactly that. If you're not a God in training, then what are you? I'm watching the chat room in here. I'm asking all of you. If you're not a God in training, then what are you doing here? You just wasting your time? What, you on some celestial junk tour? Or I mean, what? Is it the experience? Because if you're not here to begin to prepare, then the question becomes, what are you? If you're not a God, then that means you're something less than a God. Does anyone really believe that? I ask you again, if you're not in training as a God, then what are you? Think about it. I can quote you scripture and verse right now where that says about the same thing in the Christian Bible. You can do the same thing in the Hindu Bible. And there are others. Sanders, I don't know why you would say that. I am definitely less than a God. You are a God. You have just been trained, as we all have, to be a subservient to someone else's ideal. And thus, most people go through life trying to figure out, well, what is the meaning of life? Well, this really sucks, man. I mean, I'm trying to get along. In the meantime, all you've done is gotten so immersed into the flesh. And let's break it down scientifically. Actually, you've gotten yourself lost in two different dominions: the dominion of chemical alchemy and the dominion of electrical alchemy. Because within those two realms is how you and I define reality. Everything that you and I base reality on, 3 are chemical and 2 are electrical. Think about it in that perspective. So if you're immersed into these two realms, wouldn't it make sense that you should be here to master this realm, not have the realm being master over you? I mean, we try to take the shortcut. For myself, it was trying to find the shortcut through religion. But that never works out. It's not an original. And when you find that out, you go, well, all right, well, where does that leave us now? It leaves, what it comes down to is something as simple as this: personal responsibility for your spirit being. No one's going to be around you doing the rah-rah session on the other side. Now, I have no doubt there is, in fact, a welcoming committee. But once the rush is over with, that is where you're going to be spending some serious time in introspection. Now, I've told you my vision that I had nearly a year ago. I was over there. It was as real. In fact, complete loss of space-time. but it really comes to a question. Now, I've had a lot of emails saying, well, what makes their Hermetic teachings so much greater than the biblical teachings or the teachings, let's say, in the Torah, the Quran? I mean, we just go right down through the list. It's because all the rest of those were built upon these 7 principles. Now, there is debate going around. They're saying, well, you know, there's the Egyptian and then there's the Greek. Come on, get off it. If that's where your consciousness is set and splitting hairs, have all it you want. I don't need it, don't want it, won't participate in it. Either it's truth for you or it's not. And there's no debate. Because either you have the code already or you don't. And, you know, if you don't, it's cool. You know, I wish you much peace along your journey. You're on a journey, just like I am. You're going to die. Your body is going to die. Now, how you begin to deal with it after that, that's why all of us are here. What is it that we have to begin to do? Well, I contend that if you take Occam's razor and you look at all the evidence of the Bible, the evidence of the Torah, the evidence of the Quran, the evidence of the Vedic, all the evidence, and weigh it for what it was built on, it collapses. The only reason why a religion exists is that because it's got people who are putting energy towards it. What I like about the 7 principles is that it brings personal accountability front and center. You ain't got no room to run, Jack. You can't put on enough makeup, sister, to hide from it. Because the truth is what it really comes down to. Now, we're playing a handicap game here. And that is, most of us can't remember. I don't care how big a guru or whatever a person spiritual is. You know, the fact is, you and I are playing a handicap game. Now, maybe that's the challenge. We read yesterday that it seems that that's what God wanted to make it to be, was a contest. I thought about that overnight. That's rather humorous, really, if you think about it. But then again, as I said, if you don't have any skin in the game, it's going to be as fodder to you. That's why welfare systems never work. You make a man or a woman work to earn what they're getting, they're going to have more respect for themselves. And then that changes everything. It changes the energy. Where do we get that at? Well, gee, I don't know. We could go to the second law, correspondence, third law, vibration, fourth law, polarity. Oh, well, definitely got to get into a rhythm, which is the fifth. Cause and effect, no doubt. And as we'll study, gender. And all of us have been taught wrong on gender. We've only had the crudest, grossest perception of gender. And it's hindered us. So I'm talking now. You see, the initiate's path is an awakening of the spirit in all its infinite beauty and awesomeness. And I contend, ladies and gentlemen, if that isn't a definition of a God, small G-O-D, then what is the definition of a God, small G-O-D? Now, for all of you who are coming out of the Christianity God spell, where did you learn that if you read your Bible? And if you took the initiative like many of us did, and that's why we're here, because we did study and we found out that it was flawed. But nevertheless, there's truth held within it. So where else is this taught that you are God? Anyone know? Do, 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 do. Yeah, I can sit here and sing the song all day long. I'll tell you, it's in the book of Hebrews and again in the book of Psalms. That's if you believe that. If you are not destined to be a God, then my question is, someone said, I'm lesser than a God. Maybe you were meaning capital G-O-D. Then it means that there are others occupying these meat suits besides spirit beings. Now, we learned yesterday that the all, and whether you want to do now the step down, some have the mind, others have reason. And today we're seeing what reason does. The reason that we see today playing out is a darkened reason. It has no light in it. When you start calling for the violence on another human being, there is no light in that. I don't care what you are. And this is what I contend, folks. I am going to be a God. I am a God. I'm in training. And I want to get it right. Now, I don't know. I can't see beyond the veil. I've been allowed just a piece of looking through there. Hello, Deborah Tucker. How are you? Got the oils. So this is what I do know. That if there is any reason to logic, and logic has to play a part in this, we're sentient thinking beings. Now, I've always seen myself as a light being. I've had visions of that. And there was a period of time where I was in the darkness. I kind of related to almost Thoth's journey through the halls of Amenti. How many of us went through that dark place to get to here? I would probably be willing to say almost all of us. You see, when we read these words, we don't quite put ourselves into the present tense. But I contend to you that if you're on this path of initiation, this path of light, more understanding than knowledge. Knowledge you can gain, but it does you no good if you don't have the understanding to apply to it. It's just that way. And when we go down, as Thoth did, through the dark halls of Amenti to reach to that point where we could begin to see one of the stones, isn't that what's happening to us now? So think about it. I have. And when you begin to have a different mindset, let's just say I'm going to pick out a name here that I can actually see. Well, since I see the first name, Deborah Tucker, you're a God. Your God is not gender. It's not what you think gender means, but you are a God. You have demonstrated it. When you begin to understand the elements that you are immersed into, that really what you're here to have been doing was to learn to master that which surrounds you. And you can only master it from the inside. It's only spirit person that can master these things. You've been aided with mind called soul, and you've been given the interface, which is this body. And with that, all of us should be opening portals. We should be already have found the philosopher's stone for each of us. Now, tomorrow night, we're going to start learning how you can begin to understand and practice and use alchemy, magic in your daily life. You're already doing it. The ignorance that we go through in this lifetime is a shocking revelation to us on the other side. It's true. I mean, think about it. You know, when you really get down to it, you're a sojourner too. I am. I've known that. And I made the declaration. Listen, I made the public declaration, as all of you know, about a year ago when I said I reject all earthly gods. All religious gods I reject. They're nothing more than a man-made construct. And then it's odd how you make that declaration. And, you know, it's like one person jokingly wrote to me, says, "Oh, you're going to hell." That's why I got the shirt that says, "Yeah, I'm going to hell," in so many different religions. But what they don't understand, hell can exist, because if hell is there, so is God. And if God is there, then there can be no hell. So how the hell does that work? Talking about hell. It's just the way it is, folks. So it really gets back down to this thing. So, by the way, we're going to learn here. I don't know. It won't be today. Maybe it'll be tomorrow. All of you need to be getting yourself your magic diary. And you should be doing what I do. I've got hundreds of these. Every day there should be something on your paper. A new awareness, a new idea, a new thought. And as you begin to learn to write this down each day, you'll be blown away to see how many copies of you there is. We don't stop and think about this. I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, to those of you who are, let's say, over 40, let's say over 20, are you the same 5-year-old? Sadly, that 5-year-old has gone and was replaced yet by another, by another, by another, by another. In a lifetime, you've had thousands of bodies that your spirit and soul have occupied through this amazing thing we call life on this temporal plane of existence. And if you're as beautiful as I am in the inside, then it shows. No, seriously. But you should look at yourself like that. You should be madly in love with yourself. I mean, come on. Love that body you got. It's the only one you're going to get. I think many bodies weep in pain because the attention they get is not what they want. It's not what they need. You know, in many different religious beliefs, and it shouldn't be something that is profound in all of us. This body is, in fact, a temple. I mean, it's definitely a crowning point of creation in one manner. Complexities of this is just beyond, we're still dealing with it. And think about this, folks. Someone trusted you enough to give you the keys. The question is, have you just been letting it sit in the garage? Or have you just been polishing it? A good engine loves to go out and take a good run. And we can do that. But my point being to all this, you're in something that you don't even understand yet. I'm just getting small grasps of it. Philosophers have been trying to define it. Hermes, I think, did the best. But even he said that this body is, it validates the all, the mind of the cosmos. And we're envied. I'm trying to tell you something. If you only realized how many entities are so envious of this gift, this favor, this divine favor, this unmerited favor that you've been granted, you'll start looking each day going, oh yeah. And it doesn't matter if you're in a room, a 10 by 10 room, or if you're in a place where you've got acres. The same magic, the same elements immerse us all. It's just that we get so busy and we get so wrapped up. It's true, folks. If you can just begin to understand that you are a God, it's going to change everything about you. That favor, cleansing, and blessing just got put on steroids. You start doing it every new moon, sister and brother, watch out. And the point is for you to learn dominion. That is the point. Learning to be personally responsible for the dominion that you've been given. And for all of us, that dominion is a body, is where we start out at. You master the body, he who has much more will be given. To him who has less, even that which he has will be taken away. And so when you begin to realize as a God, you've been given something that no angel, no demon, no other deity has been granted. The opportunity to the test to see if you can master this and all that comes with it. That is what lies before all of us. And sadly, if this message could just get out to the people, think about every inner city that would be changed. You wouldn't have a predatory environment. You'd have a collective of cooperation, each striving to the same goal, the same ideal. We are all gods in training. And it would appear that someone's trying to train us for war. being war gods. I don't like that. But it would be the evidence of doing that. Excuse me, folks. So think about that. Yesterday, we dealt with the thing on anger. I mean, if you can't master the emotions, imagine that. You see, that's the problem I have with the Jewish God. It demonstrated it couldn't master its emotions. How it calls itself a god, I don't know. But listen, if these Elohims, or whatever one you will call them, if they're somehow considering themselves God and they can't control their emotions, then we got big problems right here in River City, folks. Well, Kim, that's true. You don't need to be a god, but why the aversion to being called a god? It's because you've been trained to see yourself lesser than what you are. We all have. If we started looking at ourselves as gods, that this temporal plane of existence is the proving ground, I dare say that this planet would not be a warlike planet. I wrote this, and it says, are we not the gods, or at least some of us? There are those who have been made aware. There are other kinds in these mortal bodies other than us. So it's a discussion, yeah, probably one that you won't hear any on Sunday morning. But yet, when you read phrases that says, we are created just a little lower than the angels, but to know this, that we shall yet judge the angels. You can't judge something if you're not a god. Right? I can only imagine what some are thinking about, but that's all right. The thumbs down will come. Inevitably. I think I got a little group here that's doing the same thing, but you see, everything we have done as a species has been broken. It's not worked. Praying to unseen gods has never done anything for mankind, for humanity. And if the definition of insanity is trying to do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, we have become masters of that. Masters of insanity, we are. Look at our political system. It's broken. It's insane. Our financial system, it's insane. Our social systems, they're insane. Insanity is so abundant here, it's like water. Damn it, we got to make some change on this. We're heading for a bloodbath. You've got leaders in one particular political party here in the United States calling for the death of other American citizens to inflict violence. Where have we seen this before? Are we doomed to live with bloodshed once again? And yet you want to come against me and say that I'm proposing that we are gods and that somehow we've been led astray by religion, by politics, by social I mean, it's got to stop, folks. We can't be playing games, going from one channel to another. When you get into this whole thing, we've got to stop and begin to get serious about this because, folks, it's on the front door now. When you start hearing our leaders calling for bloodshed, wake up, folks. I'm going to be doing a whole hour on my radio show tonight on this. This is leading to a very bad, bad place. And my point is, all this new age crap and everything else, I haven't seen it affect anything in Washington, D.C. I haven't seen it affect anything in even local politics. So are we just all mentally masturbating here? When do we start doing the real work? This is getting dangerous, folks. Getting very dangerous. And if we have an opportunity to change this, the only thing I can see is to do the opposite. When a leader calls for bloodshed, we call upon him favor. Favor of soul, favor of grace. When one person begins to advocate harm or hate to another, we advocate favor upon that individual. We'll start using our magic to not defeat our emotions, but to bless those who are coming against us. That message has been said, but it's been hijacked. And you can't fight a dark magic if you don't know your own magic. That's what these teachings are about. Yeah, it bothers me. It bothers me a lot because we're better than this. We are better than this. We, the people, as a spirit, are better than this. And the sad thing is, Nero, thank you. May it be returned to you 100-fold, sir. That we are. And if we don't start doing something, and I say, let's start doing our own magic. I'm convinced magic is the only thing, our own magic. And when we start adding our magic together, it becomes a powerful power counterforce. And I believe forgiveness comes in that package of favor. It's all encompassing. I believe enlightenment is in that blessing of favor. And so if I call upon even a person I may disagree with ideologically, I can still call favor on him or her. Have deep compassion. Now that's magic that works. It's the only thing I know what to do, folks. Because we've got to change the voice. We've got to change the frequency. We've got to change the polarity. We need to begin to be the causers, not the casualties. And whether they be whatever they may be, there's still a soul there. Hopefully a spirit. One of our kind. But even if there isn't one, well, we'll just call favor on them too. Well, this has been a pretty heavy one. I'm probably going to end this a little bit early, but I care. And I know all of you, I know for the great majority, I know many of these names, there's new ones coming in. Ruth, you know what? You just got it. If God is love, we are God's, then we are love. My dear, that is a big hug for you. We've got to see that. Zize, the wolf, well, thank you, dear. Thank you. You know, we can teach our leaders a thing or two. We can teach the CEOs of every social media company out there. We can begin to show every religion their highest hierarchy. There's a greater force. It's called favor. And if we started beginning to get this viral, that every person around the world would just begin to think of favor upon those who have harmed them, hurt them, favor for their leaders. It could be a revolution that will cause our world to maybe go in a different direction. We've got to think outside the box here, folks. This is not a competition. If anything, this is a community. And we got a role to play. We can do this. When I meditate now, I don't know about you, but I'm up to 30 minutes and I can meditate now on one single thought. And that thought has always been favor, and it's amazing now what's happening. And I believe that there is a great force that has just been waiting for permission to come to our aid. And I mean our species to our aid. And I think that that key may be just a simple word, favor. Who knows? Might be just that simple. Heather, I know that times, we can't let that go. I know it seems like nobody seems to care. When we all disengage from this energy and we walk out into the world, we see it, we know it. But I contend that if we could see the full light spectrum, you are a light being that's emanating such powerful, powerful energy. I know it. There are shows on there more and more that they're trying to document what happens at death. Science is getting closer and closer. We know metaphysically there have been great strides. We know in many other areas. And it's becoming now, for medical science that are studying the phenomenon, they now know that the transition for us is as long, for some of us, well beyond 30 minutes. But for most of us, we're in a transitional state, even if the body has been, I don't know if it's been on, where it's been obliterated, but in cases where you've died of more of natural causes or, such diseases as coronary disease, etc. And if you're in a place where they can resuscitate you or try, they're actually now knowing that they're keeping you in an interdimensional plane. They know that. They also now can measure the brain. And as one science from, I think that, I forget the university, the medical university, I want to say the Mayo Clinic, but don't quote me on that, but said they now know consciousness exists beyond this. Now meditate on that, folks. That's you and I. That's that energy. Why can't we cultivate it? And the question on my whiteboard is, why haven't we spent as much time developing the mental gifts, telepathy, telekinesis? Why? I live in a world now that sometimes I'm dumbfounded. The more I'm granted to see, the more dumbfounded I become. But you know what? It comes right back. My guides tell me, you need to tell others. There's only so much they can do. Maybe that's why the others have fought us so hard. Always coming against us, always trying to find division, always trying to find reason to split hairs, always trying to find fault, always, 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 always. And the shame is that we are the gods. Ay, 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 ay. Okay. uh, well, at least the conversation has been anything but dull, right? Well, I know for me, and those of you who want to still come along, we're going to get this down. We're going to learn more. I've got 50 books for us to begin to go through. And somewhere along the line, we're going to have someone come to the head of the class and go, and we're going to go, whoa. We're going to get that individual on. We're going to say, how'd you do it? What did you learn that where we missed? And they're going to say, this is what I found. This is what I did. Then all of us are going to take from that and we're going to add our own special magic to it. And we're going to continue to advance the mark. And that's how we do it. And we'll find agreement within our disagreements. I mean, none of us want to live in an automaton age, you know? I like chocolate, but give me a break. I mean, it is nature's #1 food group, but balance, right? Hey, Steve, how you doing? Well, folks, just keep yourself good. We're going to make this one short. We're going to do fine. You know, so many of you write me most touching emails. I mean, I've got a call I need to make to Laura that there's just, we're learning. We're learning. And Benita's great. Most of you that I see here that I know that have been with me for a while, you know, I look to you as teachers. And there's many of you that are advancing to that. Brian over there at Milky Way Weekly, Steve over at Slightly Slanted Truth, Jeff Doherty. I mean, there's so many. And new ones coming along. Sherry Spears is one. I mean, you know, people that have come out, sharing with the world their gift, their special anointing. And that's what it's about. And then you got people like me that come along and you go, well, oh, I'll tell you, we are an amazing, amazing species. Our diversity of our races and our beliefs is what makes us unique. You know, the animal kingdom and the plant kingdom marvel at us as well. And I'm sure that they wait for us to get awakened again. And maybe that will be the sign, is that when we can begin to communicate to the other kingdoms, maybe that will be the litmus test for us to begin to measure to. Maybe we need to open up a world of fantasy again, and not one of make-believe, but the one that really does exist, where fairies fly, Words can be spoken, portals can be opened. People meet their needs according to the abundance of the universe, not according to what they're worth, not according to how much they can work, but more importantly, to that which they can master. All food is just material, atoms, molecules, corpuscles, all arranged into a particular form and fashion. No reason why any one of us can't. But I'm still learning. I'm still learning, figuring it out. Still trying to figure out the damn spoon thing. The trick is not try to bend the spoon, but to know that you are the spoon. Okay. I'm still trying to figure out why the reflection is reversed. Folks, y'all are the best. So class is going to get ended early. Join me tonight. What is your understanding of the star seeds? Well, I'll give you what my impression are. Those very well may be the new class of graduates. What I mean by that, I don't know how many more I have to go before I get there, but there is obviously something going on, and maybe these are the gods coming back. I got a sense that if the gods do exist, in which I do believe they do, I think some of them who care for humanity so much, and they may be dispersed throughout the universe, I have no doubt, but maybe some take the challenge to come back into this corporeal world to bring their gifting. So that's my take on the starseed people. Hope that helps. Because I would do the same thing. Maybe that's what some of us have done. Think about that. All right. Thank you all. Blessings to you. Love yourselves. And I'll just speak an invocation of favor over all of you. By the frequency of a voice to a tone of a word can bring amplification to a person who is the receptor of it. So I just speak favor over all of you today. Everyone listening to this, I just speak favor over you. And may the smallest of things begin to change before the biggest. You figure that one out. All right, folks. See you tomorrow at noon, and then tomorrow night with Anja and Deborah Tucker. And thank you. Honored to have you. And hey, we're learning this together. All right. Be good to yourself. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.